pop story ever. Welcome into The Jump. I'm George Sedano, filling in for our fearless leader, Rachel Nichols, joined by NBA champion Kendrick Perkins and ESPN NBA insider covering the Warriors, Nick Friedel. Coming up, we look back and pick our most memorable moments of the strangest NBA season we've seen. But first, let's go back in history here, as Becky Hammon made history last night after Greg Popovich was tossed in the second quarter. Hammon stepped in and became the first woman to act as an NBA head coach. While the Spurs lost the game to LeBron and the Lakers, Hammon stepping up was a big win for her and the sport.
Obviously, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a substantial moment. I say this a lot, but I try not to think about the huge picture and the huge aspect of it because it can get overwhelming. It's my job to go in there and be focused for those guys and make sure that I'm helping them do the things that will help us win.
The future's bright for her. You know, I hope she just sticks to it and don't give up. You know, and one day it may happen, it may not happen, who knows? But, you know, she's definitely on the right road. And, you know, I think everybody here appreciates her.
But the impact that she's had on this organization since she's come here has just gotten, you know, bigger and bigger the more that she's dived into that role.
You know, she really knows her stuff. And you know, obviously she's here for a reason. She's equipped. She's intelligent. The guys have great respect for her. And, you know, I think she's going to be a head coach in this league someday.
She's been great ever since she got in. It's a beautiful thing just to hear her barking out calls, barking out sets. You know, and she's very passionate about the game. So, you know, congrats to her and congrats for our league.
Yeah, an unbelievable moment, Perk. So now that Pop has shown trust in Hammon to lead the team in his absence, is she on track to be Pop's ultimate successor whenever he does choose to retire?
Well, George, you know how the Spurs do things. They're trendsetters. They're the ones that love to do things first. And when you look at how things are going, just think about it. When you watch Becky Hammon when she coached the Summer League team a few years back, she did a phenomenal job. And I do think she is next up in line. I wouldn't be surprised if Pop got thrown out on purpose just to give her this opportunity because 2020 has been so horrible. And he was saying, you know what? We're going to start 2021 off right. But she's ready. The most important thing that I see, besides her knowing the game, is that the respect that she gets from the players. It's not easy coming in as a woman to coach NBA guys and stars, and the respect that she has around the league from everyone is phenomenal. And I do think she's up next for the head coach as San Antonio Spurs when Pop decides to step down.
Yeah, look, to your point, ultimately, game recognizes game, right, Perk? That's the way this works. She's one of the greatest female basketball players we've ever seen. And forget about females. She's one of the greatest basketball players we've ever seen. So she clearly, as you mentioned, is ready for that moment. And look, we're not saying it's happening tomorrow. We're not trying to get rid of you, Pop. But she has clearly shown the ability to handle the position. Now, Hammon wasn't the only person making history last night, as LeBron James, on his 36th birthday, became the first NBA player to ever score at least 10 points in 1,000 consecutive games. That's dating all the way back to 2007. The next two closest in NBA history are Michael Jordan with 866, and of course, the Cap, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with 787. Perk, I ain't trying to throw shade at you, but the staff might have. They looked up your longest double-digit scoring streak, and it was 9. Okay, I ain't throwing the shade at you, though, okay? So let me ask you this. What is the significance of LeBron's streak to you?
You know what? Here it is. He turned 36 yesterday, right? And I'm 36 right now. We came into the league together, and he's still reaching milestones and setting NBA records. And I'm so jealous. I actually wanted him to have the worst birthday ever, and it seemed like he hit another milestone to put the icing on the cake and blow the candles out with a side of vanilla ice cream. But what LeBron James is doing, George, is phenomenal. And just to think, he's almost 2 decades in, and he still have a lot left in the tank. This is not the last time that we're going to be talking about him reaching a certain milestone or breaking a certain record. And it's just, it's beautiful to see, and I'm glad that I'm here living to witness this moment, and I'm not taking anything that LeBron James do for granted.
That's a great point. I do think that, Perk, we struggle at times to really just enjoy people in the moment, right? We spend so much time debating one thing or another, like, is he the greatest? Is he not the greatest? Where does he rank? This, that, and the other. Man, just appreciate what that dude is doing. What he's done, not only individually, but what he's done for this game, what he's done beyond basketball. There's so many things that you can appreciate about him. But even if you don't want to talk about the stuff outside the court, just appreciate what he's been able to accomplish. If you were building a basketball player in a lab, it would look like LeBron James. If he's out of central casting, okay? Right. So that's the way you have to look at this situation when it comes to LeBron James. And I do think that point you made, Perk, is something that we need to focus more on. Whether it's LeBron, whether it's Steph, whether it's any of these superstars that are once-in-a-generation type players.
And absolutely. But look, like, take it a step further. He is the ultimate role model. Like, if I wanted my kids to look up to anybody besides me as a basketball player or as an athlete, as a iconic figure, it would be LeBron James. Just think about how he carries himself on and off the court. A family man, married to his high school sweetheart, raising 3 beautiful kids, raising them the right way, a real father. I know LeBron, so I done been in his home and watch how he interacts with his family and how he set family's time aside. So just watching him grow from knowing him since the age of 13 and watching him become the man that he is off the court is also special. And I believe that we have to appreciate him now, because when he walks away from the game of basketball is really going to miss him.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge void. By the way, Perk, when you had that 9-game double-digit scoring streak, I feel like you could have kept it going if Rondo would have given you the ball more, okay?
Hey, they was hating on me. Man. Hey, look, I always mess with Doc Rivers and tell him, I said, look, man, you held me back from being a franchise guy. You turned me into a role player at an early age. And his response is that, Perk, I made you a winner. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, it wasn't just the big 3 in Boston. It was the big 5. You and Rondo, too. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's go. Speaking of Doc Rivers, his former team, the Clippers, there was no additional beef last night between Paul George, Pat Bev, and Dame, as the newly masked Kawhi and the Clippers routed the Blazers yesterday, 128-105. LA held Lillard to 0 for 8 from 3. Here's Kawhi talking about his new accessory.
Did your teammates give you a hard time at all about the mask?
I mean, it's hard to breathe in that mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully this could help me out in the future. But, I mean, yeah, I get they start calling me Leatherface and stuff, but Serge can't talk too much. We got him on a trading block right now, so whoever wants him, let us know. We're trying to trade Serge.
Now, Perk, obviously Serge is obviously not on the trading block. He was kidding around, which I think is funny because, look, Kawhi is supposed to be a fun guy, right? That's what we've heard about him. Mm-hmm. But the mask, whose mask? Who wore it better? The all-time mask man, Richard Hamilton, or Kawhi Leonard?
Oh, it's Richard Hamilton. I mean, like, he set the trend. Like, that matched him. When you thought of when you thought of him, you knew that his mask, when he had that mask on, he was going to be on the tap. I don't know what that was Kawhi had on, but whatever it was he had on, he was on the mission. The mask worked because I haven't seen Kawhi this intense in a long time. And he's a phenomenal basketball player. But, George, I guess it was the mask, but he was on a mission last night. He was on the mission. So if he's going to play like this, wearing that ugly mask, then if I'm Ty Lue, I'm going to tell him, you got to keep this on.
Yeah, I'm with you wholeheartedly. And yeah, Rip Hamilton is the all-time masked man in the NBA. Although we were talking about LeBron earlier. Remember, LeBron wore that black mask back in the day with the Heat when he busted his nose that one time. He looked like, something out of like a cartoon type movie, like a superhero movie. But anyway, Let's move on to the game, Perk. The Clippers are now 4-1, including a win over the Lakers and LeBron James, including a win over Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. And now the Blazers, 3 of the top teams in the Western Conference. They do have that 51-point loss to Dallas, which is their only blemish. But what kind of statement did the Clippers make last night?
They made a huge statement with all the riffraff that was going on between the Blazers and the Clippers. I thought the Clippers took this game personal and they wanted to send a message, and they did just that. From the jump, they set the tone. They approached this game like it was a playoff game. They were into the Blazers' airspace. They were contesting shots, making them miss, not hoping that they miss. And on the other end, they were attacking. They were attacking downhill. They were getting out, playing with great pace. They were tied on the string. And this is the Clippers team that we have been wanting to see. They look fun. They was fun to watch last night. You could tell Ty Lue preaching team ball because they're passing up good shots to get great shots. This is the Clippers team that I've been expecting, and they looked phenomenal last night. I got to give credit where credit's due.
I'll say this. I thought you brought up a great point about Kawhi specifically, just kind of his demeanor. I think the team in general this season has a different demeanor so far, Perk. You know, outside of that one ridiculous game against the Mavericks, I mean, they look like they are all business so far this season. Is that a fair assessment?
That is a fair assessment, and especially Paul George. He has been playing phenomenal right now. Like, if you had to take 5 guys that will be in the MVP conversation for the first week of the NBA season, Paul George's name should be mentioned. And he's doing a lot of things. I'm watching his playmaking ability. We all know that he could put the ball in the basket, but the way that he's using the pick and roll, throwing lobs to Big Zubac at the rim, and facilitating for others. I mean, when you look at guys like Nicholas Batum, who seems like to me, he is having fun, and I'm watching him play. We haven't seen him play at this level in a long time. He's defending at a high level. He's knocking down shots. He's